Hey guys, what's going on? We're back with another Enhancement Shaman Mythic Plus video back in the 13 Floodgate. And I haven't pushed any keys recently if you were curious, and the video is sped up as per usual by a little bit, so that way it doesn't take forever. But anyways, on big news, we got the beta coming out on Tuesday, which is huge. We're going to be able to actually test stuff out that we've mostly just been hearing things about. And man, I cannot wait for that. I'm really hoping there's like a level, max level template or whatever we can use, so I don't have to go through the story and stuff. And I can just test out final things because I don't want to ruin that stuff. But yeah, I'll definitely be doing a lot of that and hopefully have a video out for sometime the weekend and definitely get some information out to see what my view is on everything. But from what I've seen, honestly, it looks like Enhance is going to be in a really fun spot. So, but anyways, on other news, if you didn't know, I have been playing a lot of Elemental lately. And the reason why is because a guild that was on Dementius reached out to me to ask if I could play Elemental. Now, I hadn't had any parses. I also haven't even, I'm only 5 out of 8 mythic. So they were taking a pretty big risk on me. And so I decided to put a lot of extra work in and, really get it down. And I finally got some heroic parses and stuff like that. And they brought me in and they seem to be happy so far with my performance. So yeah, I get to keep on going. But it does mean I'm going to have Enhance on the back burner for a little bit, which does suck. But on the say like on the note, like it's kind of crazy because this is the first key or second key I've done as enhance in 2-ish weeks, and there's a pretty big difference. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if I've maybe forgotten how to play or what, but been playing elemental. I feel like my damage as Ellie is so much higher and so much more consistent as well, which, don't get me wrong, is nice, but it's also kind of frustrating that you play enhance and it's just a whole other side. But I'm still able to somewhat compete with people, but yeah, it's kind of frustrating to go from playing elemental into enhance and just like seeing a completely different damage output. And it's like, it's kind of crazy. It really is. Because I did do like a 12 floodgate or something as elemental, and I was even raid spec. I wasn't even mythic plus spec, so I wasn't even stormbringer. I was raid spec, and I still did 9 million overall. Like, that's kind of ridiculous, right? And then I'm here in enhance doing around the same and mythic plus build, and it's just like, oh, it's so frustrating. But it is what it is. I don't see any changes coming for the season. I really don't. And truthfully, I think Blizzard should put all their thought process into Midnight anyways, but you never know. You never know. And also, with me joining a new guild, I decided to move my shaman back to Area 52, which is where all my characters are, including like crafters and stuff like that. And so I recently did that transfer, and my name is taken, which is really sad. So I had to put a little doodle above my name, and it's kind of sad, but it is what it is. I didn't make the placeholder. I blamed my friends, and they agree one of them probably took it, but which is funny. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I didn't take the nameplate. I didn't take the name as a placeholder, which I went through my characters so many times just to make sure it wasn't me. And then I looked it up and it was some level 18 warlock in like boosted gear or something. So yeah, I was like, oh man, are you serious? So yeah, now we have Sorgal with a that has a circle above it. So yeah, it kind of sucks not having the original name, but I guess it is what it is. It is what it is. I can't change that now, and I can't really force the name change onto someone else. So yeah, it kind of sucks. Although I don't know when the last time that character was played, but I had to make sure that it wasn't me and somebody had actually taken it. So it is what it is. It is what it is. It does suck that I no longer have the original name, but I still have my original base name, which is Sorgal. So I can't complain too much. But yeah, I'm gonna miss having the original. But hopefully, I'll have to just keep an eye out on it, and maybe I can get it back one day. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, so we got a lot happening this week, and I am just downright excited. Um, Again, like I have put a lot of focus on Elemental, and it's mainly because I want to impress my new guild, and they so far have been happy with my performances, which is great. So, but they did say they don't really care what spec I play, really, but because Elemental is so powerful on Dimensius, they just asked me to play Elemental, which is completely fair. I mean, if you've seen the logs of Elemental, it's just significantly higher than Enhance. But on Reclear, I could go back to Enhance if I want. Will I? Possibly. We'll see. I had to do some crafting changes to make Elemental work, so we might not. I don't know, but most likely Midnight though. Midnight 100% going back Enhance, and probably will go back to Enhance as soon as I can. But I do want to have those separate pieces so that way I don't have to keep changing my gear every single time. But yeah, so far Elemental has been somewhat enjoyable. Again, I'm not the I don't like casting all that much, but to get cutting edge, it is what it is. I will suck it up. I will learn how to play it, and it's definitely better to be more of a uh uh all around player for your class rather than just a one trick pony, right? Like you see a lot of players, they only know how to play one spec of their class, which is fair. That's all they want to do. But I want to push myself, and honestly, I really want cutting edge, so I will suck it up. Now, I don't want to heal, so that is one thing I'll draw the line on. I don't want to heal on raid. I find it extra boring. It's just like tanking. I don't mind healing Mythic Plus, but yeah, I'm a DPS at heart or a tank at heart. It doesn't matter. Um, Healing is not my thing. I don't really enjoy it, but I'll do it to either get keys done or just get a group going, basically. So, but yeah, so Elemental has been a bit of a change for me, and I have been enjoying it, and I've been playing it in PvP a little bit as well, trying to get that up. But yeah, I do miss Enhance. I really do. After doing this key, I realized how much I really missed it. Just enjoying it, having fun, being in the melee, seeing all the flashy lightning everywhere and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, Elemental is slinging lightning everywhere, but there's something about being in melee and Enhance is just more enjoyable, I guess. So I'm excited for Midnight make a comeback as Enhance, and I don't know. Honestly, I really I don't know. It's just it's ridiculous how much of a difference right now there is between Elemental and Enhance, and it sucks. But I mean, overall, like my damage output is just fine, but it's just RNG based on what the heck happens, right? I'm sure most of you know playing deeply rooted elements, obviously in the long run, is the better option, but it does come at a cost of you never know when the heck you're gonna proc, which sucks. Also, there's a funny thing that happens after this boss, which is I laughed so hard at myself. But yeah, so in in Midnight, we are getting a lot of changes, which I am more excited about. If you didn't know, so we'll talk about that a little bit more. Um, so the first change is going to be our mastery. So our mastery currently increases our magical damage essentially, so our nature, fire, and frost. Um, and it also increases our chance to trigger a storm surge, which is the thing that resets our storm strike. That's getting modified slightly. So Storm Surge specifically is getting modified so only Storm Strike has a chance to reset itself on use. So you can't get it from auto attacks, you can't get it from lav lashing and stuff like that, which makes a whole lot more sense because they're adding in a talent called Elemental Tempo. And if you don't know what that is, basically every time you spend Maelstrom, you're reducing the cooldown of Storm Strike and I believe also Lava Lash as well by zero point 0.2 seconds per Maelstrom spent. So that means you can go from 0.2 seconds to 2 seconds based on how much Maelstrom you spend, which is going to be a massive game changer. Not only is it going to reduce our RNG factor in the build, but it's also going to provide a much smoother gameplay in my opinion. Whereas right now, as you can see, I'm out of Storm Strikes and I'm kind of wishing I got some procs, but at the same time, we do currently have Frost Witch, which does reset our Storm Strike, but it also feels kind of bulky in a sense. I don't know. I don't know how to put it, but it does feel kind of weird compared to this version. So I am truly, truly excited to try out these changes. I really am. It also seems like our imbuements are going to be way more impactful too, with the amount of buffs and stuff that are going out through them. The only thing I'm still concerned about is the Tempest change. Now, Tempest is instead of becoming a guaranteed factor every 40 seconds. Oh, this is the funny part. Hold on. So I got distracted by something. I couldn't remember what it was, and I I got hit by the bomb. So that was funny as heck. I was laughing pretty hard there, but what was I even talking about? I lost my train of thought. That sucks. Um, but yeah, all these changes for Midnight is going to be huge. Crash Lightning is now becoming more of a core part, thanks to the Apex talents, which is great to see. My only concern right now is going to be the Ride the Lightning side. Now, don't get me wrong, I think it's really, really cool and it's really awesome to see. The question is going to be like, how much damage is it going to do type of thing. I don't know. Like, it just seems it's a really neat idea and really powerful for both versions of Enhance, but I'm quite curious to how impactful it actually is going to be. And then we got the factor of feral spirits. So basically what has happened is feral spirits, and now I do like the idea of the new design of feral spirits. Um, Basically, if you take the talent, whenever you Doom wins, you gain a Nature Feral Spirit, and if you Sunder, you gain a Fire Feral Spirit, which is really cool. But there's no extra benefit other than like a 5% damage increase to their selected element and physical element. So my question is going to be, do they still generate Maelstrom, and how much damage are they actually dealing on their own? Because I do like the idea of them being tied into Doomwinds and Sunder. It really gives them more of a cooldown amp, and it makes the cooldowns even more powerful. I do like that. But the fact is basically a 5% buff is not worth the talent point almost, right? And it's only going into physical and the element type. But if for instance it summons maybe let's say two, that's a 10%. That might be a little bit more beneficial even. And um if they generate a bit of maelstrom while they're active as well, that could be huge. And if they're outright damage of the wolf itself is decently effective, then that could be really powerful. But right now, it just seems they kind of killed off feral spirit. But again, it's hard to say. It's hard to say without any proper data on it. I don't know how much the people that have been testing it have tried it out and stuff like that. I'm sure they've done significant testing, but I don't know if they've just done that for simming. I'm not sure. But it would be really, really cool if the feral spirit came out and was just doing pretty solid damage. You know what I mean? Like it, it would be nice going back to like Wrath of the Lich King, where the feral spirits actually did a significant portion of your damage when they were active. Now, the question also is going to be, how is it going to work with deeply rooted elements, right? So if you don't know, deeply rooted elements is getting modified slightly. So you keep doom winds. Um, and also it works weird with ascendants as well. I'm curious. So basically the way they're changing those is they're going to be a proc difference. So doom winds and ascendants are becoming the same thing. But the difference between doom winds and ascendants, or ascendants and deeply rooted elements, is going to be the fact that ascendants will trigger doom winds automatically when you press it, right? But outside of ascendants, every time you spend Maelstrom, you have a chance, I don't know the exact percentage, you have a chance to trigger doom winds. So do those triggers activate a feral spirit? And for deeply rooted elements, for instance, if you trigger ascendants, are you guaranteed a doom winds? And does that also trigger a feral spirit as well? Or is it only when you doom winds on cooldown does it activate a feral spirit? So these are the questions that I want to figure out and see, because that could really put our damage into a chaotic position, kind of where it is right now with Stormbringer. If you didn't know, every time we Tempest, we summon a feral spirit, right? And that's a huge factor. It doesn't seem like it would be, but it's actually pretty massive, being both 10% nature damage and 10% physical damage. The more Tempest you proc, the more damage you're going to deal, basically. And if you continue procking, 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 right, you just get to the point where I've had 5 feral spirits active at once. That's a 50% damage increase to both nature and physical effects. That's massive. So if these proc rates do happen, what's it going to look like, right? So these are things that I want to test out, figure out as well. I haven't looked at, I don't know if anybody really has a really significant playthrough of Enhance right now on Midnight. I know I've watched a few things Word Up has released, but I haven't really heard him talk much about feral spirits, other than he's kind of sad to see it get almost hacked, basically. So I would like to see some serious testing with that, but maybe he has, and I just haven't found the videos or anything like that. But I do trust his I trust his knowledge of everything and his testing to give us the best um I don't even know what to call it, but to give us his best opinion. I do trust Word Up. He's always been a good source of information for this kind of stuff. So yeah, but Tuesday I'll be trying out a whole lot of things, just getting a feel for it. But the biggest thing I'm excited for is going to be the elemental tempo and the fact that Crash Lightning is becoming a more core part of enhancement. It really is exciting to me, and I genuinely cannot wait. Although there was one change which was really weird to me. So, the original Blue Note post was saying that Totemic is getting moved to a, I think it was a 65-second cooldown, basically 60 seconds with the talent. But in a recent Blue Note, I saw that it got changed back to a 20-second or something like that. So I'm quite concerned about that. Maybe that was just for restoration. I'm not sure, but there wasn't anything specifying it. So I am quite concerned that it's gone back to a 20-second, which I think is not a very good idea. But again, I don't know for certain. So we'll have to test that out when the beta comes live. But yeah, that's basically where I'm at right now. On the road to getting cutting edge, brought in for Dementius, basically having to play Elemental. Super excited for the Midnight beta. Ready to test out a whole lot of crap for this spec. I really am. And then I might dabble in some Elemental. We'll see what happens. And yeah, I lost my name on Area 52, which sucks. Really does suck. But anyways, guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Laters!
Beware.